What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Good morning. Good morning. It is a good morning when Plarium starts it off with a W. So we got a pretty big win here from Plarium regarding the Titus fusion that's currently ongoing right now. They just released the champion chase overnight, and upon me waking up, seeing this champion chase coming in at a very reasonable 1,550 points for the 25 fragments here. Now, this has happened in the past where they threw up a very unexpectedly low point threshold for the champion chase at the end of a fusion. Now, I think this is probably a response for Plarium to try to get people to participate in this champion chase, because I think overall the rewards for this champion chase are not that great. Usually we see a big stone and a mythical book at 75 and 10,000. So the rewards here are not that great, but I think people will probably jump into this anyways because there are some relic materials here. But honestly, 2x Sacred Shards, which is the current event that's happening right now, is not really the best for Champion Chase. Each Sacred Shard, you're expecting about an average of 270 points for Champion Chase points. So it's not the best in terms of overall conversion. But I'm going to tell you guys, this is a massive win for Plarium, especially for the player base, because it makes this champion chase way more accessible to everybody. I've been reading a lot of people saying that they are struggling with the fusion, and then they might have a make or break moment at the champion chase. Well, this champion chase basically means that you have no excuse for failing because of this champion chase, because at 1550 you could basically pull three of these epics, and you get 1,050, and that leaves 500 points on the table. And where is that 500 points coming from? It's coming from Lemonisi right here. So if you guys save Lemonisi, I believe it was a 2-day delay, you guys would have been able to claim her for 500 points in the champion chase. Now, if you guys are not aware of this trick, you guys can use this for the future. But if you reach this splash screen on PC, you just type the letter R, and then you will enter the shop, and then you can enter another area of the game and then go back to the bastion, and then you would have avoided the splash screen collection of whatever reward you're at, right? So right now I'm ready, I'm set up and ready for my champion chase collection for tomorrow. But just a tip for you guys for the future, if you guys missed out, if you guys pulled Lemonisi at the wrong time, you guys still probably have a chance to get all the champion chase points without actually having to pull a single shard, because we did have a Prism event as well, and it's right here in the summon pool. So what happens is that when you guys see a Prism event and a champion chase basically at the end of the week, usually Prism events start at the beginning of the week, and then champion chase ends at the end of the week. In this case, this week, we had the Prism event basically end at the exact minute that the champion chase started. And we were getting a lot of questions whether you could save the Prism pull for the champion chase. Now, the answer is yes. All you have to do, I'll make it easier to visualize here, but all you had to do was not click this button, guys. Next time, just don't click this summon button. Let your crystals expire, and then the pool will auto pull the 40 fragments, and then that 40 fragments will go here, and it'll be a red dot. Okay, so once that red dot is there and the champion chase is live, then you collect this red dot, and then you'll get credit for whatever you pulled, whether it be an epic or a legendary or whatever. So don't worry that the summon pool ends at the exact moment that the champion chase starts. So this you can do for the future if you guys have not, if you guys didn't know that, or if you guys have already pulled in the wrong order, for example, and you guys can get points for it. But don't press this button. Let the crystals go into red dot status, then collect the red dot. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. You guys can kind of see here on my screen, I do have the red dot already, and I am overcapped on my basically, that the system will not auto pull my prism crystals anymore. So you can kind of see here, if I pulled this one red dot on the next pool, these will start flooding in. So the 250 here will start flooding in. But I want to make a more conscious effort on where I want to open them. So I won't be opening them for this champion chase. This champion chase is going to be super easy for me. I'm going to be opening my 3 epic fragments and then getting the Lemonisi, and then boom, I get the fragments here. I wasn't planning on doing the champion chase because I was expecting it to be quite expensive. I was expecting it to be at least 3,000 points because Plarium knew that we had the epic, the void epics coming into this champion chase. We could actually get all 4 of the void epics if you wanted to. So quickly going over the calendar here, you guys can actually finish the champion chase with the 4 remaining events yet to come. Actually, we have the Fire Knight, Dungeon Diver, gear removal, and the classic arena here. So there's 4 events yet to come. So there's a bunch of fragments still left. Technically, you could fuse all 4 epics and Titus during the champion chase, so you guys can get a lot of extra credit points there. So you guys can plan accordingly. So I would feel like as long as you can get the 1550 from the 3 epics, Lemonisi, you guys can fuse the last epic and Titus. So that's an additional, what is that? 1100 points additional 1000 points because Void Legendary is 650 and another epic is 350. So another 1000 points. So this 2500 reward should be very easily in the bag for everyone that's completing the Titus fusion. Obviously, you guys can stretch it out and go for the 3000 or even the 5500 here if you guys so choose. Now, for me, I might go for the 55. I think that's going to be the target for me. I got some remnant pulls. I haven't done Amius yet and all that stuff, so we can work on that over the weekend. But honestly, this is a huge win. And, my initial plan did not plan for this. So I did complete all of my fragments in the second summon rush. So I was totally expecting to skip this one. I skipped the first summon rush and I was totally expecting to skip this champion chase. But now I'm going to easily complete it, get credit for Titus, get credit for the 4th epic. And then we can maybe skip something else down the line because we'll have some extra fragments as well. I think maybe we can look into skipping the Dungeon Diver since that's going to be a pretty heavy energy spend. But honestly, this is such a massive win. And like I said, this isn't the first time that Plarium kind of does this kind of unexpected thing. Maybe they are listening. Maybe they're listening. Maybe. After the actually closed door conversation that we had with the developers, it did feel like there's some upshift towards some change. Like they did manage the event dungeon change. They were, I don't know. I'm a little bit optimistic. I'm not a big fan of this Titus 5-star soul going to the winner here because it's obviously very difficult for non-spenders to get a 5-star soul for a champion. So I would prefer that they give this out to everybody instead of giving it out to just the big spenders. That's my personal opinion. Not give it out, but give the opportunity for other people to get it, like in a Titan event, for example, or a Hero's Path. Anyways, if you guys are going for the fusion, make sure you guys fuse him before the 6-day period is over. So you can't actually save Titus. If you guys don't have enough fragments to finish Titus, take a look at Gom Yellowhand here. He's actually a pretty good champion. I did do a showcase on him. He can definitely help you guys out in wave-based content. And he's, not too bad for progression. He is a void affinity as well. So very, very solid. Definitely check out the showcase I got for him. But yeah, you can save Gom. So you can save Gom. He'll end up here forever. And you can pull him for a future champion chase if you want to save him for points or CVC or something like that. But for Titus, you have 6 days to fuse him. So make sure you guys are aware of that. Honestly, going back to the calendar here, I'm actually kind of interested to see what they're going to do after the Titus fusion, because you can kind of see here the Titus fusion ends on the 16th and nothing is stated, and we have no idea what's going to happen because initially I thought it would be just another Titan event for his 5-star soul, but his 5-star soul is up for grab in the champion chase. Really not sure what they're going to do for the last remaining 2 weeks of this Chaos Awakes event. So really, really not sure. I think it's probably going to be a Titan event, and I think it's going to be around the relics, to be honest. But they already did the relic for the previous Titan event, and it was a really bad one. It was one of the bad ones. The gilded pinion. So they did the legendary, they had this legendary in the Titan event in the previous month. So maybe they put the skull of treason. Like I'm really like I'm crying for this, but like I don't think it's gonna happen, right? Obviously, this is a big money maker, and Plarium's not gonna give this away for nothing. So maybe they do something for the Skull of Treason. It's a pretty good one. I actually pulled one of these recently on my latest Relic Craft session, and I put it on my Sulfurion. So he does more damage with his HP burns. So you kind of rely less on the Incinerate blessing as well. So maybe you can get away with the lower one. And a little bit of accuracy is definitely very useful. I wonder how this would work on Artak against the Ice Golem. That'll be something interesting to test. But you know what? Plarium didn't do, I guess they only had one legendary during the Alice event, so they only had one Titan event for the Cat's Gaze. So maybe they do another Titan event and they have the Skull of Trees. I don't know. I would imagine. Or maybe somebody else said that they might put up an epic fusion, a short epic fusion. And that does happen. I believe maybe once a year they do like an epic fusion, but usually it's around October or September. So they could put it. And then the only other thing left for them to do is something related to Balar. So they're doing a 10x Balar right now. Balar is part of the Sylvan Watchers. Yeah, he's on a 10x right now. It's about 5% chance to get him if you pull a legendary from a shard. Like I said, he's pretty decent for Hydra, Trial, Sensitivity, Leech, Poisons, Decreased Resistance, Increased Accuracy. So he can handle a lot of the trials, or gives you the opportunity to do some of the trials. I guess you can do some kind of guarantee for him, but they already just did a guarantee for Grey Coast. Perhaps Balar shows up in Hero's Path. That would be interesting. And I would imagine that if they do another guarantee for Balar, it would be shard related, because Grey Coast was soul and training. Soul and dungeon diving. So I would imagine they switch it up and go Balar for shards and training or something like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I would definitely like this guy. I think he's kind of cool. Gives some options. And I guess, you know, you have to mention the kind of like the featured champion, and that's going to be Corrosa here. How are they going to capitalize on her one more time in the last 2 weeks of this Chaos Awakes event? You know, I'm going for that home run swing and saying that she's going to be like winner take all in a tournament or something. I mean, they have a winner take all right now for a champion chase. Maybe she's a winner take all for a training tournament. I don't know. It's a long shot giving away a mythical, but you know, she's kind of mid-ish. So I don't see what the problem is to give her away, you know what I mean? And obviously we're limited by mythical books, so you know, I don't know, just give it away, man. Plarium, come on. Plarium, you start off this weekend with a W. Let's end Chaos Awakes with more W's, all right, guys? All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about this new Champion Chase reward threshold. I think it's awesome. The rewards are not great, but, you know, if you can get away with the bare minimum to do the fragments, awesome. If you can get some additional value by pulling the 4th epic and Titus in the Champion Chase, you'll walk away with some epic fragments for relics, which is another win. And you know what? Having a Champion Chase without having to pull shards and finishing it off, huge thumbs up. Technically, this fusion would have been a very, very inexpensive fusion if we had all this info ready for us. So you could have completed, you know, one part of the Summon Rush, which was 3,000 points. So that's 6 Sacred Shards. And then you head into this Champion Chase pulling no shards, and you would have finished Titus. So it only took 6 Sacred Shards or 3,000 Summon Rush points, however you want to slice it up. But this fusion actually ended up being very inexpensive. But because Plarium withholds that information until the final moments, you know, we can't plan accordingly. You know what I mean? Anyways, overall, I see this as a huge W for everybody. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate your time as always. Best of luck finishing off Titus this weekend. All right. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.